Stop consuming and start living your life. Nowadays, pretty much everybody is addicted to this little device right here. It consumes a lot of time every day because we are almost pretty much always on the phone and we forget to actually live, and that's what it's all about in this video. Because when we are always on this little phone, time just flies by and suddenly like 1 hour passed, 2 hours passed, and we're still in the room, or maybe you are watching that while you are sitting on the bathroom, or while you are in the bathroom. And yeah, it's just kind of sad when you think about it, because then we are in the loop of doom scrolling, and especially now with TikTok, that's even more addicting than before, and it somehow messes up your brain. Your attention span is way lower and you don't get done what you want to get done. Like for me, for example, when I spend too much time on my phone, like I have so many plans, I want to do that, this and that, and then just because I'm always on my phone, I forget to do that, or I don't even start it. And sometimes here we have a spiritual channel, you don't really connect with God, because to hear God you can't always stay busy. Like when your mind is always busy, then you never calm down, you're always in your head and you can't really connect with God or read the Bible or other books. It's almost impossible. But when we lay this little device a little bit away and actually start living and don't consume all the time, then suddenly we get overwhelmed with this thing that everybody kind of tries to avoid, and that's boredom. Boredom is kind of the thing that nobody wants to have because it doesn't feel comfortable, but when you sit in it and your mind actually starts working a little bit in this boredom, then a lot of great things can start happening. Like you start thinking on yourself again. Just imagine when you always consume like news or sports or content creators, you don't even have the time to literally develop your own thoughts. And when you then start living again, you might start create something or have a conversation with another person, and you develop your own thoughts. You don't just copy paste everything that you hear, because when you only consume, then you don't even work out the brain muscles that cause you to think if I personally actually like it. Like for example, when there is a nice car and I want to buy it, why do I actually want to buy it? Do I want to buy it because everybody else wants to have this car, because it gives me status, I look good in the car? Or do I actually want to get this car because I personally like it? And do I actually have the money to afford it? And if I don't, how can I get there? Like those are all thoughts that we don't have when we just consume, because then we just see it, we want it, and then we don't think about it anymore. Or we watch the video or whatever else, we read a book, and then we move directly on to the next thing and watch a new video with completely new context, and then we forget to act on the things that we have just watched or wanted to do. And that's kind of the sad part. When we always consume, we don't have our own thoughts anymore, and it's kind of like sad, interesting, or whatever you want to call it, because nowadays in this consumer society where everybody just wants to grab your attention, they make it on purpose addictive to watch those videos, or to stay on social media all the time to post, because you always think you are missing out, and then you get validation from other people, and then you want to get more validation, and it's like dopamine hit after dopamine hit, and we haven't touched even the addictions that you can get when you consume other stuff online. That even hooks you even more, but I have completely different videos about that. But all those people that want to grab your attention and make you addicted to this little device cause you to actually neglect your own purpose. And throw basically your life away. And pretty much everybody nowadays with the phone is guilty of that, because it takes a lot of discipline to actually like not consume all the time. But the thing is about this little device, it can actually make you or break you. Like, this little device connects you, of course you already know that, but it connects you with the whole world immediately, and you get all the information here that you need to like get more inspired to write something, or you get different thoughts to write about it, or whatever you do, you can get instructions how you can craft something that you like to do. But then you are actually living out your dreams, or you are starting a project that you then actually also finish. But yeah, usually we just go back and watch another video or don't even act upon it. And other people with businesses like Google that owns YouTube or whatever platform you are on, they just get your time, attention, and then eventually money, because they can sell this information. That's the economy we live in. But just another thought why it's maybe good to like not completely get rid of all the consumption, but just it might intrigue you to like change your behavior a little bit. Because when you just think about it, when you are always consuming, then and not like create your own thoughts, or you think that's kind of the ego trap that we are in. Like, when you always consume and then you start thinking on your own, you kind of have the feeling all the thoughts are only from you. But when you then actually analyze it and see, I consume that and this creator, you basically watch them because you agree with them, and then you pick the things that you like because they shared their thoughts with you. And then you think that those are my thoughts, that's my identity, but we haven't really, we haven't really challenged the thoughts. Like, the best example for that is the news. Like, they are always, like, during Corona it was the worst. They always spread fear, like somebody died here, this is coming, that is not going good, inflation is going through the roof. If you only read that or consume that and don't question it, you're always living in a state of fear. Always. And that's like, how can you avoid that? And that's then eventually your opinion. Like, if they say this person is bad, then most people, in my experience, they think this person is bad. But when we start digging a little bit, why do they actually say this person is bad? Of course, nobody is always good, especially when there is war. But I just like to question sometimes why the leaders of our society want us to believe that this or that is good or bad. I think that's a really interesting thought to have. And if we don't have those thoughts, because we're always consuming, then we are suddenly trapped in this consuming mind game of fear and being influenced just because we don't start to think by ourselves. And that's also really interesting, but you might disagree. Just say in the comments what you think about that. I believe that, like, to be a government or somebody that leads a lot of people, they have to believe in the system. And so they basically have to agree with the thoughts that the people have. Like, they have to believe in the system, that it works, or at least work with the system as much as possible so that it keeps on working. But if they have a different thought pattern and don't go along with everything, then their system doesn't work anymore. And the really interesting thing is, like, when you are a believer in Jesus, then you start to think a little differently because you are not in fear anymore. And that's a completely different state of mind. Of course, you can also challenge those thoughts, but there is a good saying, I think it's It's right at the beginning of Johannes. I have to look it up what it is in German, but I can post the verse here. It says that you are in the light or something like that. But when you are always consuming and you are not in the light, then you can't really see the truth somehow when you're always in an addictive state. And I think that's kind of interesting. And when you are in this peace, when you have received the Holy Spirit, then it's way different. And you're not fearful anymore, and you can actually think a little differently about everything, because you don't just consume anything and just say, okay, that's good. Then that's what, in my opinion, that's way better. And that's also the reason why they don't really like us to believe in a God that makes them not believe the thoughts that they want you to believe. That might be a little bit too, I don't know. I just think that thought is really interesting. Like when you accept different thought patterns, or if you have a different approach, and definitely Christianity, or like, I don't even like the term Christianity, I just say if you follow Jesus, and in my opinion, if you see the truth, the light, and everything, then you look at the world a little differently, not because you are better, but because you got unhooked from addictions and everything, and you got more wisdom through the teachings of Christ. And that's really interesting if you then apply that to the world, because in my personal opinion, if people can't manipulate you anymore with money, sex, drugs, or fame, then you're completely independent, or even more independent, because your trust is in Christ itself. And then your discernment is going to be through the roof, because when you just see all the little manipulation things that are going on. I don't want to say that I'm perfect at that. I'm still struggling, but I just see when you are not tempted by all the fleshly temptations out here, or less tempted, then you can kind of see better through the system, and I think that's kind of interesting. So those are basically the reasons why I believe it's better to stop consuming, or at least less, or more intentional, and start living. I'm also working on that, but as you can see, I'm also creating and sharing my thoughts. And I just tell you, or give you I don't even want to give suggestions, but if you feel moved and want to create more, then see that as a motivation to do so, because it can trigger or reveal different thought patterns and views in your life that you haven't experienced yet, and it's definitely worth it. So that's everything from me today. Leave a like down below, and a sub if you like that video, and we will see us in the next video. Bye guys.